Hey everyone, Gage Ryan here to showcase my Dark World deck for Edison format. And I know right away you're going to look at this and go, what the hell are you doing? And I don't know if I really have a good answer to that, to be honest with you, but I've always loved Dark World. I've played Dark World since 2013. And even nowadays, as strictly a redo and Edison and occasional hat player, I still find myself playing Dark World a ton in Redo, and when I found out there were still at least Dark World cards of some kind in Edison, I immediately knew that this is a project I wanted to at least give a try. I wasn't sure if I'd be able to profile it or anything like that. I mean, it's still by no means is it a tier 1 deck. I would joke with friends when I was telling them about this project, and I would say that I'm trying to take a tier 7 deck and turn it into a tier 3 deck. So it was quite the project, and I don't know if we really got there, but it's pretty solid. It'll steal games occasionally, and it's not the worst at matches. You just kind of have to know how to side and how to play your cards correctly and how to play Dark World different games, going first, going second. And so like all those elements with Dark World are still there, but it's obviously drastically different. So with this deck, obviously, as you can see, there is no Grapha, there is no Snow, there's no Gates. So we are left with a ton of leftovers, if you will. With this deck, it's not really about playing everything on turn 1. That's not really how normal Dark World should play more often than not. But like theoretically, we're talking about like in Edison format, it's especially that way, where it's about saving up your resources and then using cards like Card Destruction or Morphing Jar or whatever, and basically playing into these big over-the-top plays that get you a mass amount of advantage in one fell swoop. If you open a bunch of Dark World monsters, yeah, that sucks, but like if you top deck into Brawn or Dealings or Drag Down or Card Destruction or whatever have you, like there's a ton of cards that like once you grab it, now it's switched the entire... This deck switches from about to lose the game to there's no way I can lose this game more than a lot of other decks do. And it's just because, you know, your opponent will have like 2 monsters and like 2 back row or something like that, right? And then you finally get to Card Destruction. Let's say you sarked for it. As you can see, I play Gold Sark in here for a reason. You finally sark into one of those power cards, you resolve it, and you just destroy your opponent's entire field. But let me get into more of the specifics. So we got 3 silver and 3 gold. So normally in like, let's say redo format, right? Silver and gold they're virus targets, they're beat sticks, they make rank 5s. Like they have different uses in the deck, and like let's say beige, right? With this deck, it's almost the exact opposite. These are your Graphas, if you will. They only go up to 23, so they're obviously not nearly as big. You do struggle at times to get over big monsters with this deck. That's why I'm considering cards like Soul Taker or whatever have you in the side deck. We'll see how that goes. But with these guys, they are solid beat sticks, and again, they feed into your Morphing Jar, Card Destruction, Dark World Dealings, and Drag Down. Like, by the way, Drag Down is amazing in this deck, and I don't really like give a shit about them picking silver or gold. I just got a 23 beat stick out of the field for free, and I got to rip a card out of your hand. So I mean, you kind of take it in stride. 3 silver and 3 gold may seem steep, but again, when you don't have Grapha, and so then effectively beige does, I won't say nothing, but it's just not worth playing, like at least in my testing of it. You guys can come up with a reason why I should play beige, please let me know. But for now, it's 3 silver, 3 gold. You got 3 brow. We do have brow in Edison format, thank God. So, I mean, yeah, at least you can get some extra advantage. I mean, again, this is one of those cards that makes, like, if you open 2 of this and then you can get to Card D, Morphing Jar, anything like that, you feel really happy because, you know, you're just about to plus a billion. So here's where it gets a little different if it wasn't already. We got 3 khaki, that's how you say it, and 2 Gren. So khaki gets rid of monsters, and Gren is an MST. So these are essentially the cards they became absolutely unplayable and obsolete once Grapha came out for obvious reasons. But again, when you're fueling into your Drag Down and Dealings plays and getting to pop cards while you rip cards out of their hand, or like I said, if you open a hand where it's like here, let's go conservative on like which Dark World monsters, because like if you just open a bunch of destruction cards and you just blow all your opponent's shit away in one fell swoop and then draw a free hand with Card Destruction or Morphing Jar, you win almost every time. But like let's say that's not the case, and it's like silver, gold, like khaki, and you have to deal with some like you're still in a solid position, and like you just threw a bunch of beat sticks in the field for free, popped one of their monsters. Like you can just change the way that the game's going very quickly, and it's because these guys just act as your I don't know, your snipers. Like, these are the cards that hit back row. These are the cards that hit selective monsters that give you difficulty. This is how you get over beat sticks a lot of times, you know. So I like these cards more than I thought I would once I got used to playing them and kind of knowing when to play them. You got 2 Brawn. I go back and forth on this. I actually do screw around with Kaikus a little bit. You see one in the side deck right there. But yeah, Brawn is a solid normal summon. It's 1800. And what you can do is those cute plays. Like, let's say you clear their field, you pop something with Kaki, you snipe a back row or 2, and like you're just able to clear the way for Brawn. You summon Brawn Swing. That's 18 direct. You use his effect and then like drop a Silva. That's another 2300 right there. Like, you're just able to tempo people with Brawn at certain points. So I like the card quite a bit. And then Smiling Jar of Doom, aka Morphing Jar. So I was running Solidarity for a while, and it was agonizing to cut this card. One, it's one of my favorite cards in all of Yu-Gi-Oh! Ever, of all time, ever. I love this card. But it's also so damn good at that play I was talking about, where like you're stocking up your resources and you finally are able to hit that Morphing Jar, hit that card destruction, whatever have you. Even again, like going double drag down on your opponent is still pretty good. You get 2 cards out of their hand, trigger Dark World effects. It's great. But like your aces in the hole, like I've mentioned probably the last time I'll say it, are Morphing Jar and Card D, and so that's where your Sarks come in and whatnot. But being able to get to this card, and then especially like there are times your opponent doesn't want this to resolve. Sometimes they do, but there are times your opponent doesn't resolve it, so they have to use cards on this. That's my favorite, because that clears the way for Brawn, it clears the way for Silva and Gold. In case you haven't noticed, you can't normal summon Silva or Gold, so sometimes you really need them to stay on the field. That's it for monsters. 17 monsters. And it feels pretty tight. There are times where I consider the 3rd Gren. It really is just one of those things that like I might as well just like play an MST or something in the main deck if the back row is really that big of a deal. And so far it's been solid. So it's 14 cards that can be triggered off the discard effect. And I want more, but again, now we're getting limited to being an Edison format and whatnot. Onto the spells. You got triple dealings, kind of a staple card. I don't know how I feel about it, to be honest with you, because like just with so much value, so much malicious, so many graveyard decks, they can kind of tutor with this card really easily. You can pitch a Machina Fortress out of your hand, so I'm not totally sure how I feel about this card, to be honest with you. I threw it in here because it's Dark World freaking dealings, obviously. And there are times like you pitch the Kaki out of your hand and pop something, or you pitch a Gren and pop something. Like, it has value, it's just I'm not sure if the value that it generates for you outweighs the negative of potentially letting your opponent send a value or a malicious to the grave. So this is kind of one of the spots that's up in the air. But one of the spots that's not up in the air, Triple Drag Down. I love this card to pieces. It is so good. It's one of my all-time favorite spells. I've always used it in virtually, like, I think every Dark World deck I've ever played in my life, I've used this card, except for like maybe, I don't know, maybe like the creator builds or something like that. I don't know. It's just it's so hard to tell because Drag Down is just such an essential staple, in my opinion. And especially Edison format, where you have about half your power cards that you normally do. And so being able to, like, I've seen a couple Dark World decks out there, they don't play, like, in Edison, right? And they don't play this card. And they're just like, no, I'm just going to, like, play Plague Spreader and, like, Synchro and make it a Psychic deck. And it's like, you can do that. I see where a lot of the power comes in. You'd have, like, OTK a lot easier with that deck than you can this, but I wanted to stick to, like, pure Dark World. And so the idea of passing up Drag Down from the grave, the idea of passing up ripping cards out of your opponent's hand, that just was not going to fly with me. I needed this card. Got Double Gateway. Man, I went like 1 to 2 to 3 to 2 to 1 to 0 to 1 to 2. You know, I'm never really sure where I land on this card, but I like Gateway. It is a good. I just hate the restriction on it, man. For one, I didn't even know it was legal in Edison format, but here we are. But yeah, Gateway, like, for you don't know, it's a monster reborn for Dark World. You target Dark World in your grave or special summon it, but you can't summon other monsters turn you activated. So your whole point is to do this end phase, right? End phase Gateway for like Silva or something like that. And what you can do is it helps work in tandem with your virus cards. I mean, you can't play Eradicator in here because there's no 25 or more, because there's no gates for them to boost your monsters. So, and there's no Grapha, so it kind of is what it is, but Deck Devastation Virus is still, you know, pretty damn solid. And so like that classic play that everybody remembers from like 2013, which is ironic because it's format's before 2013. But where you flip the Gateway on their draw phase, on your opponent's draw phase, you bring out a Silva, you bring out a Gold, whatever, and then you just immediately flip a virus card. So yeah, we're in your draw phase, but you didn't really get a chance to do anything. Unless you can, like, chain the one MST you have in your entire deck, like, you know, odds aren't good. Double Sark. You know what cards to Sark for. I won't repeat myself anymore. And if it isn't these two guys, then sometimes you Sark for a virus, sometimes you can Sark for... I Sark for Force of Darkness sometimes. Just target 2 Dark World monsters in your graveyard, add them to your hand. And again, it goes back to that play I mentioned where you're just like stockpiling cards and then hitting one of your power cards and getting a ton of advantage off of it. So Sark, absolutely essential. 1 Dark World Lightning, another card I go back and forth on 1, 2, or 3 on. I mean, 3 is definitely too much, but but it's still a really good card. And I mean, again, like having this and like Hacky or something like that, and it's just like, okay, pop your face down, use the effect, pop your monster. Like it's a nice Twin Twister like effect that hits 1 backer on 1 monster. Or if you have Grand, it hits 2 spell and traps. Like, you know, being able to combo this with pretty much anything is pretty helpful. There are definitely times you get to late game, your opponent like top decks 1 back row, sets the 1 back row, and it's like Dark World Lightning, hit that back row, pitch Silva, special, and attack per game. Like, you just do all sorts of cute plays like that. The best card in this deck, and arguably the best card in all of Edison format, basically, card destruction. You got Heavy Storm, and that's it for the spells. I don't play Brain Control currently, and I really want to. This is one of those decks where you just kind of like ride your power cards to victory, so to speak, but I don't know. We'll see how it goes. On to the traps. You got Double Force of Darkness. I kind of want to play 3, but right now it's just 2. If I could play like 2.5 of this card, it'd be perfect, but it is what it is. It's just so good. You know, activate this card, you go +1. Re-establishes your hand so you can set up for your big power cards. It can help set up for, like if you top deck a Drag Down or something. Really good card. You got Double Skill Drain. You need power cards from somewhere, you know what I mean? I mean, like, you can also play Gozen and Rivalry and all sorts of that kind of stuff in this deck. That might be worth noting in the sideboard as well. But yeah, for now it's just 2 skill drain, and I mean, card is absolutely fantastic. You don't really care about like, you know, oh, I drew Morphing Jar after I resolve skill drain, because normally if you resolve skill drain, you're in kind of a winning position anyway, and it's the 1 card in the 40 card deck it really conflicts with. You don't really care about Brawn, still an 18 beat stick, so skill drain, good card. Double deck dev, you just, you know, destroy so many decks out there. I mean, you know, you don't keep it in against everything, and, you know, especially like at times like when you're going second, it's a little harder to establish viruses and your opponent has established field. So 2 deck dev in the main. You got Dust Shoot, nothing to explain there, and Mind Crush. I mean, like, Dust Shoot, Mind Crush plus triple Drag Down. I mean, just, and the virus cards. Like, you try to keep as control of your opponent's hand as you possibly can. And then Mirror Force and Torrential. You just need some defense sometimes, man. There are definitely times, like, early on in the testing with this deck where I didn't have these 2 cards, and it's just like, I was able to pop stuff, I was able to kind of get control of the field, but I just couldn't quite clear and reestablish control. So these are for that. Extra deck, nothing really to explain there. Yes, I'm playing like Gazaris and Electrum and Ab-Zero because it's just, you never use it. Who cares? I mean, like, if you want to play Plague Spreader and stuff like that, I'd understand. I'm not really a fan of that variant. So onto the side deck, got double Raikou. You know that everybody's going to side, you know, what is like Shadow Mirror and Macro and all that stuff. I mean, and a lot of times, like, they'll be afraid of some kind of graveyard effect, so they'll like flip it before your Raikou gets flipped. So they show you where it is and you just snipe it. So good card. Double Cyber Dragon, pretty much a staple in like pretty much everything I can think of. Double Giant Orc. Seems like a weird choice, but again, 22 beat stick, normal summon, deck deviable. And again, works under skill drain really well. You won't switch to defense. You know, just like some people do side this in like standard like redo Dark World or something like that. I'm not really a fan of that, but I do think it has a lot more purpose here in Edison when your resources are so limited. What Trap Eater? Just, you know, like take the first like 5 continuous traps you can think of that hurt Dark World, and Trap Eater probably gets rid of all of them. So that's pretty solid. The 1 Kaiku, it probably should be 2 or more, but we'll see how things shape up. There are definitely times where I'm like top decking multiple Kaikus playing this deck, and it just kind of ruined everything. So we'll see how that goes. It's such a good card, though. Like, it just absolutely wins you games if it resolves. Again, you clear the field, you pop 1 thing with Kaki, you pop 2 back row with, like, Grand or something, you summon the Kaiku, banish their shit. You know how it goes. True Nade, I'm not sure about this. This might be Brain Control. I feel like what I probably should do is find a way to throw Brain Control of the main, take this out of the side, and take one of my main cards and throw it in the side to kind of make up for that. But I just haven't figured out that combination yet, so for now it's just True Nade, and I like True Nade. It is a solid card. I mean, again, when you're trying to clear the way for, like, let's say Brawn, right? That's actually a really solid play you can do, is, like, you know, True Nade everything, summon Brawn, swing, drop Silva, like, you go from there. MST, nothing to explain there. You got 1, you got to make it count. You got Double Decree. I like this card. You got Decree. A lot of people sided in against Dark World, and I kind of get why, but it's just so easy to get rid of. I don't really, like, I almost don't see the point, but, you know, teach their own, I guess. Transmigration Prophecy, I can't figure out if this card is, like, low-key amazing or if it's garbage, so no, I'm kidding partially. I do like this card. It definitely has usage. And again, like, when you're siding in against, like Machina Fortress or something like that, or the Frog deck or something, there's always going to be purpose for this, and it's not like you can side Banishing, so, like, maybe, like, if you wanted to argue, like, you should probably play Soul Release, like, you might have an argument there, but for now it's Transmigration Prophecy, and it's chainable. You know, like, they try to, like, pop this with something, chain trans, but put their stuff back. Good card. You have the Solemn Judgment for obvious reasons. You worry about it sometimes if you're going second or whatnot, like having this and kind of not being able to set up properly, so it's on the side for now. And then the best card in any Dark World player's side deck is Return from the Different Dimension. I've only been able to hit it once or twice so far, but it's just so good and so much fun. There was one time someone forced me to use it early, and I didn't like that, and I still ended up winning the game just because of the advantage from kind of the play that I had to fall into from there. Return's amazing. In case anybody was wondering, it's just because a lot of times people side Banishing it against you, especially if you know the deck that they're playing and you know that they're going to side Banishing against you. Or if they're going to DD Crow your stuff, which I think is kind of stupid, to be honest with you, but a lot of people will DD Crow you and, like, or other miscellaneous stuff. They try to bottomless you, or they play Triple D Prison. There's plenty of ways to, like, cheese Return from the Different Dimension out. And, like, once you have that and you special, like, Silver, Gold, Bronze, it's just, like, game. GG. So that's my Edison Dark World deck, you guys. It was quite the deck project, and, like, I still don't know if I succeeded, but it'll definitely steal some games for you at points. It's definitely a very fun Edison deck, and it was a deck project I knew I wanted to try immediately. When I saw that Dark World at least had some of its power in Edison format, I was like, okay, as someone that loves Dark World more than almost any other deck in Yu-Gi-Oh history, I knew I had to at least give it a shot. I gave it a pretty good shot. I enjoyed it. I have a couple replays of it that maybe I'll put up, maybe I won't. We'll see how that goes. Those videos don't do very well. My deck profiles do a lot better. So that's about it, you guys. I really hope you enjoyed it. Give me any feedback on this deck that you'd like, and maybe I'll make a part 2 a little later on down the road. So hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you soon.